Our show is Thursday episode. Today is the 14th day of September 2023, and we're so delighted to be counted amongst the living today. And I hope you are as delighted as we are to be alive in the land of the living this morning. You're welcome to the show. Good morning, Anambra, and we thank you so much for always waking up with us. My name is Nonye Nwokoye. Let's begin the show with the press review. The Right, you're welcome to the press review on ABS, the 14th September episode of Press Review. And in the studio this morning, I have a public affairs analyst in the studio. I'm trying to, remember your name. You've been a regular guest on this show, Paulson Okeke. Good to have you in the studio.
I'm beginning to wonder if I've been a regular, you shouldn't be thinking about my name.
All right, you're welcome.
Good morning, viewers. Please join us this morning for us to discuss topical issues.
All right, okay, let's begin with taking a look at some of the stories making their headlines in front of ABS website. Let's see stories trending on ABS website. Flood. Soludo asks riverine areas to relocate. Asks people in riverine areas to relocate. Anambra State government sustains efforts towards boosting creative industry. Anambra State government awards contracts for more roads, erosion control projects. These are three burning issues on ABS website this morning.
Yeah, that's very good.
Rehabilitation, relocation, work.
Yes, that's why we keep saying that Anambra is a work in progress. Yeah, for the warning, Governor Soludo asked riverine communities to relocate. You see, they shouldn't. I'm surprised that up to now that they are still there, if they are still there, because history from 2014 till now should tell those people living in riverine communities that they shouldn't wait for anybody to tell them to relocate, to run for their dear lives. Because this is a recurring thing every year, every rainy season. You should remember that early this year, NIMET issued warning for riverine communities in about 14 states to relocate. And Anambra happens to be one of them. So they shouldn't be asked to relocate by now. They should have been relocated. That's what I'm saying. Because Otego Governor Otegeji Amokwa, maka iji na-abịanụ, emegidego ndị National Emergency from Abuja issue warning, ndị NEMA issued warning that na ndị Cameroon emepagodo ama. So na ọ ka mma na ndị mmadụ bidoro gbaba ọsọ tupu olutebe arụ.
And passing through River Niger, you see that you will notice it
that the increase in the volume of water.
There.
Yes, but one thing about this year's larger dam in Cameroon is that they opened it gradually instead of those periods in the past where the thing either collapses or they open it in one fell swoop and the effect will be so much. But this time they are gradually releasing the water in the dam. But then, for the communities they affected, they should please be very, very proactive. Let them not wait until the flooding comes before they begin to relocate. Because it is only when it comes in those, with that force it comes, that there's always, it's always devastating. So, ndị mmadụ biko gekene ntị okwu a gọvanọ kpọrọ unu echezina ka a na-ayọ unu biko onye ọbụla bido kịta gbaba ọsọ na ndị a bi na ikpele mmiri ka ibe ọ ga-emebi dị na nso.
Odima. Okay, Anambra State government awards contracts for more roads, erosion control projects. Then there's government sustains effort towards boosting creative industry. Okay, let's look at the more roads being awarded and erosion control project. We saw the minister came to Anambra State the other day.
This is where people are mostly affected again. If you pass through some of the roads in Anambra, like last 2 weeks or so, we went to Owerri with the deputy governor. The whole stretch of Onishowe Road, there are at Obosi and is it Obosi? Atoba, sorry. Atoba and down along that road. You see the effect of erosion and you marvel. Because the place was so bad that the road has been, if you allow it for another 2-3 weeks, the whole Onishowe Road will be cut off. And so that visit by the deputy governor raised alarm that made the minister to come. And then across the state, like, you know, Anambra is always, when you talk about Anambra, you talk about erosion. And if you see the level of devastation in some of our roads, you see government has woken up. Government has now risen up to the challenge to combat this erosion. It's always good to combat erosion. And the road contracts, if you award road contracts without proper channeling of flood, it will still affect the road after completion. So that's why the government is now making efforts to tackle erosion and award roads so that people can have easy passage across the state. It is a commendable effort by Mr. Governor because it shows that he's always sensitive to the plight of the people.
Yes. Okay, let's run the first paper for review this morning. The Daily Sun newspaper. Let's see stories making their headlines in front of the Daily Sun newspaper. Okay, the banner headlines in front of the Daily Sun reads, Reps NLC clash over 100 million naira palliatives with riders. It's ridiculous, barefaced lies. Lawmakers, they are favored more than other Nigerians. Union still insists. Okay, Nance Unilag students resume protest over fee hike. We have a rider there. Higher education needs total overhaul, says Minister. Also in front of the Sun newspaper, proceeds of kidnapping used to finance terrorism. That is coming from Office of the National Security Advisor, ONSA. Now 42 bidders win gas flare commercialization licenses. 42 bidders win gas flare commercialization licenses. G7 ECOWAS meets over advancement of cybersecurity. Nigerian government killing airlines with multiple taxation charges. IATA speaking will provide forex tax holidays for domestic operators, coming from the minister. I have no grudge against House of Assembly over rejection of cabinet nominees. Sanwo-Olu speaking. Libyan flood disaster death toll hits 6,000. 10,000 missing, 20,000 displaced, 3,000 houses destroyed. AFG moves NIMC to Interior Ministry. And we also have Uzodinma delivers keynote at the Sun book presentation. Okay, yesterday NLC was actually accusing the reps of taking home 100 million naira when they are dishing out cups of rice to other Nigerian citizens. I think the reps have come out to deny that it is not true. According to them, they say bare-faced lies.
Well, I don't expect members of the House of Representatives to say, yes, we are giving 100 million naira each. But Nigerians expect that much. Because by the time they took a loan of 500 billion and they allocated 70 billion to National Assembly. You should know that.
And whether they like it or not, the union is saying that they are favored more than other Nigerians.
That's what I'm saying. They are favored. They are being treated like special Nigerians. Because you cannot be giving a cup of rice or cups of rices to Nigerians and you're giving 100 million naira each to a particular person. And that is why we are always talking in Nigeria about cost of governance. It has always been a sing-song in Nigeria that Nigeria is the most expensive democracy in the world. We say we took out after America, but when you see American legislatures, I don't think they earn as much as Nigerian legislatures. Yet they have a better economy than we have here. So what are we saying here? Our democracy is damn expensive that we need to review it to curtail some level of expenditures. In a country that has palace economy, as we have, where people are barely living, most Nigerians are scavengers, going to refuse bins to look for food to eat. Then you are giving in Nigeria 100 million. And so you don't expect him to say yes. Otherwise, people will go after him. So that's why they should deny. But the denial is not making sense to most of us because we know the truth.
Okay,
yes.
Let's move on. The Daily Times newspaper is next in our lineup. Let's see stories making their headlines in front of the Daily Times. And IATA slams federal government over 27 different airport charges. Which right at there, Shoya, Abuja, Lagos airport rank highest. We see NAS NLC clash over 100 million naira palliative claim. Adamawa LG shares spoonful of rice to residents as palliative. Niger schools closed due to insecurity to be reopened. Rivers APC and Tinubu's appointment. Federal allocation. Impeachment locks for suspected Ogun LG boss. As court rejects bid to stop legislative probe. Expected before council lawmakers today. Okay, I don't know. 27 different airport charges at the airport.
At the airport.
For each airline.
No, at the airport. Now, one will begin to imagine, why would they not increase the airfare?
That's where I'm coming, you know.
Airfare. Why would the airfare be cheap? Because after paying all these taxes, who is going to bear the brunt? The passenger. Now you want to fly from Lagos to Abuja or from Lagos to Anambra here. They will tell you 120,000 for just one way ticket. Just like you moved into the airport, you say you want to fly. Except you book in advance. In advance. That is when you get it cheaper.
That's 1 week earlier.
1 week earlier. That's when you get it cheaper. But just like you move into the airport and say you want ticket, they will call price for you because they are paying these taxes. And they keep on collecting these taxes. They are not prepared about improving on the facility, on the airport facility.
All right, let's look at it this way. Don't you think that if the government of the day really say they feel the impact of hardship on Nigerians, it should be a holistic approach? For instance, knowing that these different taxes, the people that suffer it is also the common man. And every other thing that goes around in the nation, it boils down to the common man suffering it. Don't you think it's important for them to begin to look that direction?
No, they're simply telling you one message. If you cannot fly, use the road. That's the message. Because not they are not doing it that everybody must fly. So it's only for those who can afford. Because the taxes here and there, this is Nigeria for you to know. Whenever they make policies, they don't remember the common man on the street. They don't have the common man in mind while making their promises. Their policies. Otherwise, the way our government functions is not the way any sensitive, responsive government functions. Because when government makes policies, they are making these policies for one man in view. the common man. How does these policies we are making gonna affect the man on the street? And then they will begin to know that this man on the street is a man who is barely living. And because he's barely living, they always try to do things on trying to make his conditions or his sufferings less. That is outside in a sane society, but not in a society like us. A society like us will make the policies, whether you like it or not, they have made it. If you survive, survive. If you don't survive, you can sink.
All right, quickly, let's move to the Punch newspaper. Let's see stories in front of the Punch newspaper. As parents protest as more varsities hike fees, with riders there prevail on universities to reverse fee increase. PTA tells Tinubu fears mass dropout. Lecturers slam FG over poor funding. Students will take to cybercrime, parents warn. Manufacturers slash output, jobs over forex crisis. Slain soldiers, over 6,000 family members to get insurance claims. FG predicts heavy rainfall, flooding in 48 towns. Libya flood kills 6,000 victims buried in mass graves. Naira weakened to 950 per dollar. Forex scarcity worsens. One feared killed as flood wreaks havoc in Lagos estate. Land grabbers' violence return to Lagos leaves trail of blood deaths. All right, the issue of students going back to school, you know, primary school, secondary school, university, but this case, the universities are more matured amongst all of them. So the students are taken to the streets, you know, to make demonstrations or protests against the hike in fees. And parents have joined.
No, yeah, because it's affecting the parents are the ones paying the fees, not the students. Fine. You see, when this government came in, Mr. President says there will be school fees in the universities and so on. He wanted to make things easier by saying he's going to introduce education loan for students. But then you begin to look at it. Why do you want to increase the school fees and you still go and establish an education loan? So why don't you allow the fees to remain as it is so that parents will manage the way they be managing to train their children? Then now, when you say you're going to establish education loan, so you have increased the fees and now provide education loan.
Is it now becoming the devil's gift? Take one hand and give
it will be like Ololunkita, we go to You understand? Because you have created a problem and you have now created the solution as well. No, it should not be. Because it will be like speaking from two sides of your mouth. One thing the government has done is, or should do rather, is to review the school fees they introduced. Because parents are already struggling to train their children. And in this harsh economy we are all facing, every parent now in this September is sweating on how to pay school fees. If you have about 3-4 children in school, you should know what you are passing through.
All right.
And so parents should, the government should try to be sensitive. They should look at parents, look at students, knowing that, like parents are warning, there should be dropout. What does government gain that her citizens did not go to school? When everybody is talking about education.
But come to think of it, you know, our leaders go to America, they go to UK, they go to all these countries. What stops them from learning the way things are done there? Because I know, and I have people that have studied abroad without paying fee for one day. At the end of the day, the fee is taken from their salary. Little by little, they don't even feel it. I have a very close friend like that, and so many other people that benefit from all this. Why should we be talking at this level of 21st century? We are still talking about students not going to school, students dropping out of school. This should not be.
What you're saying is Nigeria is one strange country. Because in these countries you are talking about, you can be working and be going to school. And so you can train yourself. But in Nigeria, we're talking about high rate of unemployment. And here people chose education as a better alternative. And now that education, you have gone there to build a wage that you must pay school fees. You get it from where place? So government should always think and see things where are done in other countries. But our country is one hell of a place that government, like I said earlier, the government do not think about the citizens. And it's always bad. Government is always thinking about their own policies. When they make these policies, they don't care how it affects the citizens.
Masses.
So that is it.
All right, the Daily Independent newspaper. Let's see stories making their headlines in front of the Daily Independent. FG asks CBN to meet airlines quarterly to resolve forex crisis. We have riders whose investments into aviation sector with tax holidays. IATA laments Lagos Abuja airports most expensive in Africa. 42 firms emerge successful bidders for Nigerian flare site development. Also, students kick as OAU jacks up fee by 300%. Sanwo-Olu swears in 37 cabinet members, reads Riot Act. Reps refute claims of 100 million naira palliative to members, say NLC lied. Court orders DSS police protection for Kogi ADC Guba candidate. Tinubu condoles Libya's flood death toll surpasses 5,100 in one city. FG to expedite action on passage of water resources management bill. Proceeds of kidnapping being used. Okay, we've seen that before.
Yeah,
Nigeria's higher education landscape needs total overhaul, coming from the minister. All right, don't know which one you want to look at, the sponsorship of terrorism.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, when the National Security Advisor says proceeds from kidnap is used to finance other terrorism, the man has just said the truth.
Hey.
Because you cannot tell me, where do they get the fund from for terrorism to be sustained the way it has been sustained in this country? It's now approaching 20 years since since the days of Boko Haram, and we are still talking about it. And that goes to show that there must be a way they are getting their funding. Otherwise, some big men's hands are in it. Remember what our late head of state, Abacha, said, that for terrorism to thrive beyond 24 hours, that government knows about it. You understand? The last government was accused of knowing much more about terrorism because the way they treated it with kids' glove, they didn't actually confront it the way it should be confronted. Because it's government. Who are the terrorists? When Dubai authorities released some names to Nigerian government that these men are sponsors of terrorism, up to today, was anything done about it? So did they investigate those people? So that will tell you the extent we are pretending about combating terrorism in this country. Rather, we go after some little information and try to make it look so big. But when a government arrested some Nigerians, Dubai, that is United Arab Emirates government, arrested some Nigerians, about 14 or more of them, investigated them, and discovered their links with terrorism, and they sent this name to Nigerian government to investigate them, that these men should answer questions about terrorism. Did Nigerian government do anything about it? So that will tell you, when we are talking about terrorism and so on, we should know who is fooling who. So that is it.
Okay, let's look at the next paper, The Nation newspaper. Let's see stories making their headlines in front of The Nation. Employers reject NLC's plan to shut down economy. We have riders there. Why it is avoidable by Issa Aremu. TUC awaits government action on proposals. Now, Tinubu, Abiodun, others felicitate Alake at 80. And NIMC moved to Interior Ministry to speed up passport issuance. NEMA's alert flood to pound 50 communities in 13 states. Cooperate with lawmakers. Sonwo-Olu tells 37 commissioners, advisors. We can see the picture of their inauguration in front of the Nation newspaper. Now, food, energy prices push inflation to highest level in 18 years. U.S., China owe half of world's $235 trillion debt. Okay, that's just about it in front of the Nation newspaper. I don't know, which one are you
Let's take
interested
this
in?
banner.
Okay, employers reject NLC's plan
To
to
shut
shut
down
down
the
economy.
Yes.
Which employers?
Which employers? Maybe Nigerian employers, but the employers are employers wherever they are. It shows the people who are paid, who earn salary. Now, you look at our government and the level of insensitivity we are talking about, that only government will always pretend as if they care about the masses.
The masses.
But when it comes to issues that directly affect the masses, you see them walking with their tails in between their legs. I don't know that Nigerian government should up till now not have reached a conclusion with the NLC. Going by the way things changed automatically with the advent of Tinubu's government. Honestly. Now, this is a government that changed the whole narratives. Fuel increase, electricity increase, everything increase. Yet, the people who have fixed pay, whose pay are fixed, 30,000 a month. Now, you did ask yourself, how are these people going to survive?
30,000 a month. Are they all getting 30,000 a month?
No, that is just to say that it is believed that it is 30,000. But yeah, these people are making expenses of more than 200,000 a month. What is the cost of transportation? What is the food prices? Everything skyrocketed. Yet government is still dilly-dallying on agreeing on amount of salary
to be paid.
To be paid. It is very, very unfortunate. It is very, very insensitive. They all care about themselves. And that is why they brought 500 million and gave National Assembly 70 billion. Then the rest of Nigerians should share 8,000 naira a month. Let us be looking at it. Let us be watching. There is God, according to Mrs. Jonathan.
The Guardian newspaper is next in our lineup. Let's see stories trending in front of the Guardian newspaper. High prices push government homes beyond average Nigerians' reach. High prices push government homes beyond average Nigerians' reach. And 6 years after Nigeria awards 49 gas flare sites to 42 investors, $800 million stuck funds. Federal government directs CBN to settle foreign airlines backlog. SEIID Panty, how not to investigate, deter criminals. Less than 1% of unemployed youths benefit from government interventions. FG moves names to Ministry of Interior as issued NINs hit 102.4 million. Okay, this the stories we have. Okay, Kanu suspends another CASCO director for alleged palliatives diversion.
There's hunger in the director's house. So if he diverts palliative, it's not only him. Look around and look in other states. It won't be only in Kano. Because there's hunger in their homes. And now, the way they salvage or they do their work is to take what was given to him to share to Nigerians or to citizens in their state. And that is the same thing across the country. Because they will always want to salvage their families first before other families, as if that is more important to Nigerians than the other ones. Nigerians officials are always the same way most of us are. If you give them a thing to share to the less privileged, they consider themselves more less privileged as the less privileged, and they will solve their own problems first before solving the problem of those it was meant for. So diverting palliative items that was brought, it go across the country, you will see that it is being diverted. And that is why people who these palliatives are meant for, when they look at the items they didn't see, they will storm the warehouse and begin to vandalize it. So which one is better?
Okay,
to bring it and share?
I don't know.
I'm
looking at something in front of the Guardian newspaper. This analysis, please, the director, please bring back the Guardian newspaper in front of the paper. Let's see something there. There is something I'm seeing. They say buildings come with price variation. I think this is analysis of the Nigerian economy and, of course, the people. It says FG commenced 6,000. Please, director, put back the Guardian newspaper in front of the screen. Let's see something. Okay, thank you. Now, FG commenced 6,068 homes in 46 sites in 35 states, but only 2,870 units were completed. Others are at various stages of completion. Now, going down, you see buildings come with price variation. One-bedroom house type costs between 7,222,404 and 9,268,751 naira. Now, two-bedroom bungalow sells at 9,148,378 naira and 12,398,460 naira, while that of a three-bedroom ranges between 13-point-something million and 16-point-something million. Now you can see the minimum wage boldly written there, 30,000 naira. You know, you see minimum wage, 30,000 naira. Say number of poor people in Nigeria, 95.1 million. World Bank 2022. Now we see only 10% of Nigerians that desire to own home could afford it. That's coming from the CBN.
No.
Then, finally, the NHF contributors unable to afford the schemes.
That will tell you exactly what we are discussing here. Because when when they are saying that we are government, they are government, they always fight to ascend to the throne of power. You think that there's anything they are going to do there.
For you.
You understand? When they move up and down, they campaign, they do all these things to ascend to power. You would think that they have something to do for you. But they are going there for themselves. Now, this is what federal government released as price of houses. Under 30,000 naira, how much are you going to spend to afford?
You can see the percentage of Nigerians that can afford.
That can afford. So now you ask yourself, where is 30,000 naira taking you to be able to meet one bedroom at 7.2
and housing being
million?
One of the basic needs of man.
Basic need of man. So that is it. If these men who are scrambling to get to power have something to offer to the citizens, honestly speaking, we will be living in a better country than we are currently living. All
right, let's move on to the Vanguard newspaper now. Let's see stories in front of the Vanguard. Forex scarcity sends naira tumbling to 930 per US dollar. That's in front of the, which have riders there. BDC laments dollar scarcity. Analysts disagree on involvement of BDCs. Now, parallel markets, premium widens. Pressure may continue despite the reform coming from experts. Also in front of the paper, academic records. We graduated in Chicago Varsity in 1979. Tinubu's classmate speaks out. Ransom from kidnapping, fueling terrorism, banditry, National Counter-Terrorism Center. And also AFCON 2023, Nigeria set to face Senegal Egypt, or Ivory Coast in same group. $600 million trapped funds, Tinubu CBN to meet foreign airlines. Abidjan Lagos Highway, ECOWAS moves to perfect design for project. Insecurity, Niger to reopen 11 public schools closed in 2021. Is it Niger or Niger? Columnist Garba Shehu Ikechukwu Amechuke Olufaso, the ruling defies the preponderance of English case law, discouraging public bodies from frustrating legitimate expectations resulting from their undertakings or representations. We can also see insecurity. Police meet Khan in Kaduna. That's the picture in front of the Vanguard newspaper. Nigeria accounts for 30% global malaria burden coming from the minister. MTN raises concerns over vandalism of sites infrastructure in Southeast. IGP declares killer of DPO Bako in Rivers wanted. 100 days. Economy reforms have made life more difficult, coming from financial experts. Okay, a lot of stories. MTN has been crying. This is not the first time I'm seeing this story in the paper. Vandalism of their sites and infrastructure. And you wonder, you know, what actually has been going on with the MTN, whatever, your data, when you put data and when you recharge your phone, the way the money leaves your phone is something else, and you begin to wonder what actually is happening. Is it because of the vandalism that the money is disappearing that way?
Whichever way one looks at it, I believe MTN is making Nigerians. That is one thing. Because my friend who lives in South Africa, where MTN came from, will always tell me that charges are higher in Nigeria than they pay, that Nigerians pay higher.
Basically,
than they pay in South Africa.
We've seen it, not just data.
Wait,
you saw the case of rise in prices of airlines traveling to US from Nigeria, from UK from Nigeria, and compared with flights from other African countries.
From Cotonou?
Yes.
Most Nigerians go to Cotonou to travel outside. But what I'm saying, you see all these multinationals, the way they treat us is not the way they treat their citizens. Because they keep on exploiting us, and they will always tell you cost of operation, cost of operation. Can't you do some other things? MTN is a country that you call, it's a company. You use their telephone, you make a call on MTN platform. At a time, the person at the other end wouldn't be hearing you. Or the line at a time, they cut you off and they will be passing one message to you. And you are on your own money. That's MTN for you. They will cut you off and they will tell you your airtime is remaining 2 naira. And they will tell you all manner of rubbish on your own money. At the end of the day, they still restore you to continue talking until they cut you off. So why would they do that? If they want to pass message on you, they should pause your money going and they pass their own message and they allow you to continue.
All right, let's not justify the vandalism of their properties in the Southeast.
Nobody is saying it is good.
I know. Okay, let's run the Daily Trust newspaper. Let's take the two together. Our time is fast spent here. Zulum is really taking over the Daily Trust newspapers for the past week. You know, it's been Zulum in front of the Daily Trust. His achievements in 100 days in office, we say kudos to him. Let him do more.
Honestly, I must commend Zulum. Because each time I watch his administration on television and the way he showcases his achievements, I will always say that this man came prepared.
This is what it should be.
Yeah, and that's what it should be. The man has embarked on various numbers of housing projects. And he on completion, he will showcase them. And the way he does it, and other things he has I said, this man is the kind of man you would say, let him be president of Nigeria.
Okay, quickly.
Because he has something to offer.
Okay, quickly. Lack of funds stalls a 16 trillion naira railway project across Nigeria. Then the Nigerian Tribune, that's the last paper we are looking at. Proceeds of kidnapping, we've seen that before, used to finance terrorism. Nigeria ranks highest in airport charges in Africa. Abuja Lagos Airport, top list. 13 states at risk of flood, NEMA warns. We've seen that before. Now, name passport crisis, FG moves names to Interior Ministry. Let's use this story to wrap up the show. Lack of funds, stalling 16 trillion railway project across Nigeria. You know, does it mean they are using the monument for this, for that? Because when we talk about cutting the cost of governance, you know, the NLC is saying that lawmakers were given 100 million. Now we are seeing that lack of funds is stalling railway.
There's one thing we should not forget. Last administration, last government of President Muhammadu Buhari ran on borrowing funds. Yeah, you see this rail project, they keep on borrowing and borrowing and borrowing that at a time there's no country to borrow from again. So why would the rail project they conceived will not be stalled? Because they borrowed money to start the rail project, and as they borrow, they will still divert the money. They will not channel the money to the particular project from which they got the loan. So at the time, when they borrowed finished, the project had to stop until they begin to look for where to borrow again to continue. When they couldn't see, the man could not complete it, and he left. Now it's left for the government of Tinubu to know whether he's continuing with the project or not.
Okay.
But now there's a way, because he's no longer paying subsidy. There's a hope that he will have more money.
All right, accountability and transparency is what we actually need in this nation to be able to move forward. And we'd like to thank you so much, Paulson, for coming this morning.
Thank you very much.
And that's just about it on the press review for this morning. We'd like to thank you so much for being a part of it. Let's do more on Good Morning Anambra Show. Please do stay.